Welcome to All Things Marketing Podcast, the podcast that talks all things marketing for both franchise and multi-location marketing leaders. ATM is brought to you by Pure Driven. We'll show you how to turn your brand into a money-making machine. Here's your host, Steve Rockwood.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Franchise ATM. My name is Steve Rockwood. I am the marketing manager here at Pure Driven. Today, I'm going to give you a crash course in Twitter marketing. So we did this for Facebook a little bit ago, and I thought, let's do it for Twitter, right? I'm actually going to do this for a lot of products here at Pure Driven and just a lot of social services in general. Even if Pure Driven doesn't offer them, I do like to give advice, and I feel like this podcast is the perfect place to do it. So, starting off, Twitter. Very similar to Facebook, but the content strategy is actually quite different. So first off, posts per day. On Facebook, we're going for 1 to 2. On Twitter, we're actually going more for 3 to 5. So keep in mind, you're looking at more tweets per day than you are Facebook posts. Now, when you do more posts, you'd think it would take longer. But in this case, Twitter actually is a little simpler than Facebook as far as content goes. So I believe that 3 to 5 Twitter posts would take you about the same amount of time as doing 2 Facebook posts. So keep that in mind. Now, the content of your tweets. This can vary a lot. However, links to important articles and especially videos or memes that people can engage with are super helpful. Also, interacting with people is very valuable on Twitter. That's really how the platform has stayed around for so long. It's because it's a great place to interact. It's the chances of interacting with a celebrity and a brand are much higher on Twitter than any other social platform. So just something to keep in mind is it's really a two-way street. On Facebook, you want to be a two-way street where people are commenting and engaging with you and you're doing the same, but it's not as open as Twitter is. Twitter is a very open platform as far as people interacting freely with each other. So as a brand, you want to interact with other people. You want to interact with other brands. You want to interact with your customers and people who are interested in what you do. Now, as far as the content of those 3 to 5 posts go, this is pretty much up to you, but you're still going to want to follow that same 60 to 80% entertaining or reaching out or article, news, advice posts, and then 20 to 40% personal posts. Now, it's a lot easier to fill in personal info when you're actually engaging with other people. So it's nice because the 20 to 40% rule doesn't apply as much on Twitter because you can actually have open conversations with people and your brand is right there. So it's a great place to interact. That's the number one thing I want you to take from this is interact. You want to interact with people on Twitter. It's not a set it and forget it type platform. To be successful, you really want to interact with people. Moving on, building the template, just like Facebook, build a template for your content. It's just so much easier. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the Facebook Crash Course podcast, and I go into more detail. But build a template for your graphics. It's so much easier. Now, again, you're going to want to build a list of content sources. So just like in the Facebook Crash Course, we talked about how I use Marketing Land, Social Media Examiner articles a lot here at Pure Driven. Now, you're going to want to find websites that are within your niche and start posting content from them. Make sure they're trustworthy. Make sure you're not sending people to, a fake news website. But more importantly, make sure you're sending them somewhere safe. So please check all your links yourself first. I have seen some people use an auto feed where it automatically submits content and posts for them. And that's great when you have trusted sources in there. But if you're using keywords or something, you can get some pretty sketchy looking content on your page pretty quickly. And that could definitely lose you some trust with your followers. Now, speaking of followers, on Facebook, you're not really liking or following other people too much on your actual business page. However, on Twitter, you should follow people. This opens up the conversation even more. Like I said, it's a two-way street. So find industry leaders, those content sources that you're using, find them on Twitter. Follow them. Start tagging them in the posts that you use them. Say, hey, we found this great article from @MarketingLand. It's great content about Twitter posting. Make sure to check it out. Can you tell I made that subject off the top of my head? A little slow on the title, sorry. Next up, make sure you follow those industry leaders and interact with them. So if there's someone that you, like in our industry, for instance, we are in the International Franchise Association here at Peer Driven. If there's someone that did a presentation at the IFA, we should definitely go follow that person, thank them for their presentation, interact. Who knows? Maybe they'll follow us back. Doesn't really matter if they follow us back, but it's a great pro, right? We're building connections. When people follow us back, it's awesome because now we have more connections. If someone follows you and they're in your industry, give them a follow back. It'll make them feel good. So people at first on Twitter were very caught up with the ratio of followers to following. But when you look at it, the people that have a lot of followers and are also following a lot of people are built in the community. They're creating a community. So create a community around your brand because then the conversation always comes back to your brand. Next up, you're doing 3 to 5 Twitter posts per day. Make sure to schedule those bad boys. This is where you're going to want to schedule posts. There's a million platforms out there to help you find content. People always mention Hootsuite, but there are so many out there. Off the top of my head, I can think of Promo Republic. Let's see. What have I used in the past? I'm trying to think of what I've used in the past. I've used Hootsuite, Post Planner, Meet Edgar, Sprout Social. There's so many out there. So I'm sure you'll find something that works for you. Or if you're really good, just do them manually, But I like to use third-party platforms for Twitter because it's just easier to keep that content rolling when I need to. Now, the final thing that I would recommend on Twitter is do not buy your followers. It's super cheap. Trust me, it's super cheap to buy followers. However, it can mess up your account. Twitter can ban you. Your account can get deleted. Your followers will start dipping off because fake followers are usually robots and they use the same robots for everybody. So once Twitter catches on that it's just a following robot, they'll ban that account and then you lose a follower. So you could buy 25,000 followers and then in a month you'll wake up and you're down to 1,000. And that's going to lose you a lot of trust with your customers. So don't buy Twitter followers. It's better to have a small amount of followers that are interactive than it is to have a ton of followers that don't do anything. So if you have 100,000 followers, but you only get 2 likes on every one of your tweets, it's going to look suspicious, right? So if you only have 100 followers, but you can see conversations when people go on your Twitter account and they see conversations happening on your page, they're going to go, wow, they're really engaged and their customers clearly like them and they follow them, right? So just something to think about. Again, like with any marketing effort, analyze your results at the end. If you're going to do Twitter advertising, just use your best tweets. Use the ones that are going to bring people to your website or bring people to your store, or the ones that are very important. It's nice if you have a bunch of engagement on, let's say, an article from someone else, but boosting that post will probably give them more ROI than you, right? You're giving them some return on their content writing, but if you're linking them to their website and you're paying for it, you're probably not getting much out of it. So try and do your own posts on the advertising side and do the ones that you think will do best, and then analyze the results. Do more of what's working, do less of what's not working. I believe that is all I have on the Twitter crash course for you today. So thank you for listening to Franchise ATM, and I will see you here next time. Have a good one, everybody.
You just listened to All Things Marketing Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast to catch every new episode every day. Want to be a guest on the show? Sign up at puredriven.com/guest. See you tomorrow here at the ATM.